Good day, everybody. Meteorologist Mark Muller. Thank you for joining me for this edition of Weather Eastern. We have a major winter storm that is becoming likely across the eastern part of the country for Friday night and Saturday, stretching from parts of the south, the Appalachians, and into the northeast, where it's set to explode into this massive storm. We'll have the northern branch combine forces with the southern branch, and perfect phasing seems to be the key here. I'm going to have my first snowfall map here in this video, so stay tuned. And there are timestamps down below. If you wish to skip ahead, I won't be offended. Question or comment down below. Get the conversation rolling. Everybody, I love to read your questions and comments. And as always, smash the like button, share. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Let's get into it. All right, let's take a look at the winter storm outlook. My confidence scale, it is majorly increasing here across parts of the eastern part of the United States. Now, you just take not even just the fuchsia color, the extreme 5, which I rarely use. You've got a very large area of orange here, moderate. So by the time this area is into the 2s, you're going to be winding down on this storm, because this takes us from 6 p.m. Friday, March 11th to about 10 p.m. Saturday, March 12th. Look at this. Extreme category here. This is where conditions could really get into some potential blizzard-like conditions, because we're going to have a lot of wind with this system. Some snow bands on the northwest corner of this low as it tracks across just east of the Appalachians here of 2 to 4 inches an hour. Look at this, north central Pennsylvania, Williamsport area up to Binghamton, Towanda, just north of Wilkes-Barre here. You're right on the edge here between high and extreme. Same with you, Albany. Keep an eye out, because models have been ever so slightly wobbling to the east here. And it's going to be really, really uncertain here across parts of the eastern Poconos, Catskills, lower Hudson Valley, western Massachusetts, southern New Hampshire, eastern Maine. You're going to want to watch this, because, you know, where this low tracks is going to make a big difference between whether you have rain and snow or even blizzard conditions here. So this is the area I'm going to watch really closely during the next couple days. Let's get into the first Call Snowfall map. All right, taking a look at my first Call Snowfall map here. This is based on all the model trends I've seen here. This track of the system, which I'll show you on the models, the surface maps, what the models are outputting with the snowfall between the GFS, Euro, and the Canadian. Take a look at this. I think the best chance of snow, obviously, is on the northwest side of the system as it really intensifies, especially Saturday morning here into northern Virginia, southeastern Pennsylvania. So where this low tracks is going to mean all the difference in the world. There's going to be high level of uncertainty where you start to see this 2 to 3, 3 to 6 inch amounts, because if the low is just slightly to the east, look at how tight the spread is here. So you have places like the Poconos and Catskills here, where the eastern Poconos and the eastern Catskills could see significantly less than the western facing slopes of the Catskills and Poconos here. So this is a scenario we're getting into here where I think the highest accumulations are going to be from the State College area in Pennsylvania, north central Pennsylvania, just north of the Wilkes-Barre Scranton area here into the hills, the Endless Mountain region, Wyoming County, Pennsylvania. Look at this up into Owego, Binghamton, Elmira, Ithaca, over towards parts of the western Catskills here, the northern Poconos, and then you get into parts of Syracuse here, East Syracuse. Now, Albany is a big wild card. I have the Hudson Valley. I think you're going to be dealing with warm air here on the eastern side of this low pressure, so it's going to cut down totals just a tad, but 6 to 8 and 8 to 12 inches is still pretty healthy here, 8 to 12 inches in the Albany area. And then look it up through Burlington, just east of Burlington, and then northern Maine. Now, take a look at this. This is why I caution you, because this is my first call map. It is subject to change because there's going to be high uncertainty here on the eastern side of this system. And depending on where this low tracks is going to determine where this tight spread of snowfall amount is. Let's take a look at the models. All right, so take a look at this. This is the Wednesday system. So let's just pretend that's not even there. So let's take a look here. We put this into motion. This is the high-resolution Euro. So yeah, some of this here closer to the I-95 corridor is feedback from Wednesday storm. See, the line is actually right about here. So this is interesting. The Euro has shifted the axis of heaviest snow a little bit slightly to the east here. As it's going to, we have the northern stream system catch up and produce some of this energy transfer and really get this low pressure really going in the northeast here. So yeah, you're going to have a low pressure that tracks just slightly inland. That's what it's looking like. So just to the northwest of that low pressure system, that's where you're going to have some of the heaviest snow. Look at that, 11, 12 inches. So you're going to have Binghamton, New York, Elmira, Ithaca, up towards Syracuse, Utica, Albany, Burlington, just north of Concord here. This is areas where you could see a solid foot plus here. This is in the Poconos, Catskills, Adirondacks, White and Green Mountains here, and then heading down into central Pennsylvania as well. That's where things really get cranking on Saturday morning here, particularly early Saturday morning. That's when the snowfall rates really start to come together here. Now, if we take a look at the GFS, let's make sure we have the latest run here. Take a look at this. So there's kind of ignore Wednesday system there, because that's going to give some feedback. But there is the axis of heaviest snow with the latest GFS. Look at this. Right around Binghamton, 14 inches. Look at that. 18 inches right around Syracuse, 14 inches Utica, and then up into the Adirondacks. We're going to have some of those heavier snowfalls into the northern White and Green Mountains as well, in northern Maine. And then we have a stripe of 6 to 8 inches down into parts of Pittsburgh, Kentucky, West Virginia, southeastern Ohio. So we're still picking up, look at that, 4 inches in Cleveland, 6 inches in Erie. Wow. So Rochester right around 7 inches, Albany right around 7, 8 inches. So we're going to have to watch this. The Euro is slightly to the east of this, and the GFS is a little bit further to the left here. So I just want to take the Canadian here. So it's always good to throw in a third option here. There's Wednesday system. Kind of just ignore that. Yeah, there it is. Canadian. Brings a little bit warmer air on the east side of it. It is a little bit further to the west than the GFS. Slightly lower on snowfall accumulations, as you can see here. So we take this out to the national view, and let's take a look here before I show you all the surface maps. Look at this. So we put this into motion. There is the Canadian with all of its heavy snow all the way down to northern parts of Alabama, North Georgia mountains, western part of North Carolina here into the Appalachians. Look at this, a widespread snow here across parts of the South. So we're going to have to watch that. If you get into the GFS here, look at this. Make sure we have the latest run. There we go. Look at this. GFS showing 6 to 12 inch totals in central Tennessee, eastern Tennessee, the mountains here, the Appalachians, and then heading up towards parts of eastern Kentucky. Look at that, a stripe over here in Missouri as well, around 6 inches. And then you get up into parts of the southeastern Ohio here, and then into upstate New York, Pennsylvania. Look at that, 13, 14 inches. Widespread access of heavier snow as that low really starts to get cranking right around Philadelphia here. And then we head to the Euro. Take a look at it nationally here. Look at this. Kind of ignores. You can see, get a big idea of how quickly this fills in. Now, the Euro's not hinting at tremendous totals down south here, but, 2, 3, 4 inches will really do a number here on some of these southern states. So you got to keep that in mind. Look at that. You get into the mountains of eastern Tennessee, western North Carolina, and that's where you could get into 6, 12 inches easily. And look at that. Eastern Kentucky up to parts of West Virginia, and then there's that massive stripe up here in the northeast. So the Euro is looking pretty similar to the GFS, just maybe a hair slight to the east. That could make all the difference for you in the Hudson Valley, though. All right, everybody, taking a look at the GFS model. We're going to start this and get this into motion. We're starting off, here we go, early Thursday. There's that energy diving into the plains here, and as we put this into motion, you have this next piece of energy here over central southern Canada, and take a look at this. Here's a low pressure diving down into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, this is about 12Z on Friday, so this is about the time you're waking up in the morning. See this high pressure, this cold high? That's going to be a key as well. You got this energy here across the northern Great Lakes into parts of Canada, and look at this. This is where you have the congealing going, the congealing effect, where you got all the moisture coming in from the Gulf of Mexico, and then you got all this moisture and cold air on the backside of the system. So see, we already have an intensifying system by this time Friday night. So we're getting into Friday evening here, just after dinner time, and as you can see, we have two perfect systems here to come together across the east. Now look at this. We're going to have some severe thunderstorms here across parts of the southeast. This is inevitable. We're going to have damaging wind, large hail, isolated tornadoes, the possibility from Alabama, Mississippi over to Georgia, Panhandle, Florida into the Carolinas. Now see on the backside of this system, this is where we got the heavy snow developing. This is going to be pretty intense. You see, this is just before you're waking up on Saturday morning. Look at the snow streaming out ahead. Now, Binghamton, New York, over down to State College, you could start out as rain, a brief period of rain. But look at this. Look how this fills in here. This is 990 millibars. See this trough developing behind this? This, right now, at this phase of the storm, you see it's a slightly positive tilt. It's tilted a little bit to the northeast. We're going to watch this as it goes into motion. If this thing becomes negatively tilted, this thing's really going to take off. But as you can see by the sunrise on Saturday morning, you have a congealed mess up here in the northeast. You have heavy rain in eastern Pennsylvania, and this heavy rain will be feeding in to some of the heavier snow. By this point, State College, Binghamton, as you're waking up, it'll be starting to change to a heavy, wet snow. And look at this, severe weather outbreak continuing here across the southeast, and then getting much colder behind it. Let's put this into motion. 987 millibars right around Philadelphia, heading into New Jersey here. Look at this intense band continuing. And look at this, we pretty much have snow. If you back this up, look at the snow extends down into Tennessee Friday night, and then Saturday morning, see how it continues on the west side of the Appalachians. So this, once it gets up into Pennsylvania, it's not going to be a full Appalachian hugger here. You're going to have this system slowly head towards the I-95 corridor here. So you see this heavy snow, and there it is, 982 millibars. This is about noontime here in the northeast. Look, we're continuing with this conveyor belt on the backside of the system. We have a dry slot working its way into southeastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. But look at this, snow continuing all the way down into the mountains of northern Georgia, western North Carolina, western Virginia, West Virginia, and into most of Pennsylvania and upstate New York. And look at that, Vermont getting hammered by this point on Saturday. And the winds will start to really pick up. I'll show you the wind field on this system as well. Look at that, 977 millibars. This system really wrapping up here into the northeast. And look at that, we start to finally get rid of it ever so slowly here. It is a quick mover, but it is a big system, so that's why it'll take a little bit longer. But see these isobars? That means winds will be howling out of the northwest here. And as we get rid of that, high pressure builds in for late in the weekend into early next week. And then we have the next system rolling in. Not too much fanfare with that. So getting into the high resolution Euro, why don't we just get right into that? So, and we're starting off with your Thursday here. Take a look at that. There's the energy here across the central part of the United States. And then you have this system in the south, this little weak system. And as we push that off to the east, you have some of this energy starting to dive here across the southern plains. So that starts to come together. Euro seems to be just a tad slight east than the GFS is. You can see it right across to Alabama here. You got an area of showers and thunderstorms. This is where the severe weather will start to get going right around midnight on Friday night. And you see, look at this. The Euro has a wide expanse of snowfall all the way up into Buffalo and Cleveland, New York, or Cleveland, Ohio for that matter, Buffalo, New York. And look at that. This piece of energy is pretty far up here to the north, so let's see how that congeals together here. You have the northern branch really digging in behind it here. 998 millibar just east of Atlanta, Georgia. This is before your sunrise, so you'll still be sleeping here across the east. And look at this. This is a big old line of thunderstorms here in the southeast. That's going to be tremendous. Look at the heavy snow. It's pretty much in almost the identical location as the GFS. And we put this into motion, 988 millibars. It seems to be a little bit slightly to the east than the GFS. And you can see it kind of pushes a heavier band of snow into the Hudson Valley, the Poconos, and Catskills. Still heavy in Binghamton to State College and Williamsport, but doesn't seem to be as heavy. So there is a slight eastward jaunt here on the Euro, the latest Euro here. So we'll have to watch that for trend. 973 millibars here, really winding up here across the northeast. 968 by just after dinner here on Saturday. And look at that. That's tremendous wind behind this system. All right, let's get in here into the northeast. We'll zoom right down into it. We'll start off with, there it is, Friday night here. This is just before midnight. Look at, you have some rain showers starting to develop in Binghamton, State College area, Williamsport, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. And then look at that. We have that rain snow line here working its way. There's going to be a front right here, and it's going to be working its way slowly to the east as we have the rain change to snow. So as we put this into motion, you can start to see it really start to change over. Now, we still don't have any precipitation filling in here just yet, but watch that. As that low gets cranking to the south here along the Appalachians, we'll start to fill this in, and look at this. This is right around sunrise. There it is on the Euro. This intense band of snow that will occur just to the left of the rain snow line here. Binghamton up just north of Albany, State College, Williamsport, down to Johnstown. Look at that. That really starts to fill in. This is by your mid-morning. Look at that. Tremendous snows. Now, the heaviest snow really starts to develop 2 to 4 inches an hour snowfall bands here in the Capital District of New York. And there's that low pressure really winding up here across the Northeast. And as you can see, look at that, 973 millibars. And this is by the time, just before dinner time. This is late afternoon, heading into early evening. We still, look at that, we're working some moderate snow there in New York City as well. And then we start to pull it off to the northeast as it starts to accelerate. Now, the one thing I forgot to show you, let's take a look. Let's see if we can see that. Is there a negative tilt to this trough here? So we put this into motion. Here it is. Look at, oh, yeah. See that? The trough is kind of oriented from slight north-northwest to south-southeast. That is a negative tilt there, and you can see it kind of gets going here behind this system. So that is signifying that we have quite an intense system here. Let's go back into the northeast here, and I'll show you the GFS here momentarily. Let's take a look at this. Look at this. We spin this into Friday night, Saturday morning. Here it is. So let's back this up a couple frames. This is Friday night around midnight. You start to work the precipitation in behind the front. You can see where the front is. It's right in this location. You got dry to the east, northwest side. You got snow. And then we start to work that way in just before sunrise. There it is. Heavy snow developing. Now the GFS is slightly west. So it's going to bring rain into the Hudson Valley instead of snow like the Euro is. So this is a big wild card in here. The eastern Poconos, eastern Catskills, up to the Capital District of New York State. We're going to have to watch this area because there's high uncertainty. But look at that. Heavy snow continuing, and it's kind of pulled a little bit to the... Well, actually, you know what? That was the 12Z. Let me show you the 18Z here. So we put this into motion. Here we go. This is the latest from the GFS. This is quite interesting because it is almost about the same as the 12Z GFS. Look at that. This is sunrise. Look at it's signifying that there's going to be tremendous amount of moisture feeding in here from the southeast. And this is going to be heading into some 2 to 4 inch snowfall bands here to the northwest. Places like Johnstown, Pennsylvania, right over towards Wellsboro, Pennsylvania, Binghamton, New York, Elmira, up to Utica. Look at that. That really continues to fill in. We have that dry slot working in, as it always does, on this side of the system. But just to the northwest of that dry slot is where you got that conveyor belt of heavy snow that continues to spiral on the back side of this system. So Binghamton, you're still going to be socked into it by mid-morning. This is where most of your snow is going to fall through early afternoon. And then to the northeast, Vermont, you really start to get hammered by about the time 10 a.m., 11 a.m., noon time frame here. 982 millibars. So there you go. There's going to be a lot of wind with this system as well. All right, so let's take a look at the wind field with this system. We'll skip it up here to, here it is. Saturday morning, that's when the gusts really start to kick in here across Pennsylvania, New York here into Vermont. You start to see the ridge tops there starting to get gusts around 36, 37 miles an hour right around sunrise. But look at this. As the day heads on, this is where the heaviest snow is going to be falling. And look at this. You're going to get wind gusts of 36, 41, 36 in Binghamton, 42 in Williamsport. You know what that's going to do with the snow? That's going to blow and drift that snow around. So that's going to reduce visibilities, create almost like blizzard-like conditions. Now, as we accelerate, look at this. You get into the early evening, and look at this. We really start to get some of these gusts, like along the eastern slopes of the Catskills and Poconos. Look at this, 50, 60 mile per hour gusts up into the White and Green Mountains as well. That's pretty intense. And then along the coastline, too, look at Cape Cod near 60-mile-per-hour gusts. Long Island right around 50 miles per hour. So this is nothing to sneeze at here. This is where you do get the snow. It's going to create blizzard-like conditions. Look at this up here into New Hampshire by late Saturday night, heading into early Sunday morning. And the winds don't start to die down until that system really starts to kick out here, as you can see. All right, so taking a look at the upper air pattern here, we're going to go through the future here, see how this trough is. Let's see how negatively tilted this trough goes into. There it is, Friday into about midnight Friday night. Here it is. Very large trough here across the eastern part of North America. And as you can see that pinwheels on the east end of this trough, that's where the big cyclone is going to form. And take a look at this. Wow. Yeah, it's becoming apparent that it's becoming negatively tilted here. So heading on into Saturday and then Sunday, we're going to be dealing with a tremendous amount of cold air too. And, you know, let's take a look at that cold air. Here we go. Just to give us an idea, this is the 2-meter temperature. It's not the most accurate, but it's going to give us a good idea of what's going on here. Take a look at this. This is later Saturday here. You start to see how there's a temperature difference here. Let's back this up here along the coast. So you initially have this initial shot of warm air. This is why you have the rain here in parts of the Northeast for later Friday into Friday night. And look at that Saturday. Look at this cold air, how it intensifies behind the system. So anything that's left over will be flash freezing into your Sunday here across the Northeast. So we're dealing with like a finger here of the polar vortex breaking off. And as I finish up here, we are not going to do the regional maps and extended outlook from our hometown viewers, as this is going to be, this video is dedicated to the storm itself for Friday night and Saturday. So the next segment I should include the regional and extended outlook segments. In the meantime, don't forget you can check my micro weather updates on my Facebook page, MeteoMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Twitter at Weather Eastern, MeteoMark.com, WeatherNortheastern.com. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Question or comment down below.